Peter, or Petey, should I say?
A
How are
lot
you?
of Pete's involved with this movie. Yeah,
Too many, arguably.
many
No,
Pete's.
it's a pleasure to be speaking with you, dude. I want to say first and foremost, congratulations on the movie,
Thank you.
the success, the accuracy. I took both of my kids to see it, and my son is like, I'm sure you've heard this, the biggest Dogman fan in the world,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
gave it the seal of approval. He said it was
yeah,
just like the books.
yeah. That's great. I mean,
Yes.
it was really important to do that. A lot of the design work and stuff was really like, let's not mess with this because it's like that's part of the charm of this whole thing. And there are a lot of fans out there.
Yes, and so first and foremost, my name's Dempsey. Sorry, I didn't mention that before. I'm a writer and critic for a site called Cinefied. I saw the movie. I gave it a glowing review. If you haven't read it yet, I'll be happy to send it to you after this. Um, I want to ask. I think I know how you got involved with this, but for the people who don't know or aren't familiar with your work, talk to me a little bit of how you got the I guess the golden ticket of working on this movie.
Well, I previously did a Captain Underpants TV series. DreamWorks had done a movie, and then I was, I'd done tons of stuff in TV. So I did that series, and for that one, we didn't even really do any of the stories from the Captain Underpants books. We made up our own stories, and Dave Pilkey, he loved it. He loved the show. So that was my ticket. Was I had proved myself basically with Pilkey material. So when DreamWorks approached him, and he was like, "I'd love to have Peter do it." So um, I was already working there too, so it was a easy transition into the movie.
Now, we spoke a little bit about the many Daves that worked on this movie. I just want to ask real fast, how was it getting Pete Davidson on this? And not only that, but like it seems to me like you unlocked a piece of him. Like he's obviously always been funny, but like a different side to him that I didn't know he could actually like accomplish. Like he has to obviously keep the audience going because there's very little dialogue from Dogman, but like he really manages to steal the show and then also steal your heart.
I mean, I'm just gonna say that's Pete. That's what he's really like. So, he's got an edge, and he can certainly yell, and he can be crazy, and he's got good comedy timing. But I had seen, in some places that he's kind of a sweet dude, and that's what we tapped into. And it's really, for an actor, they're generally, when they're reading something, it's like, is there really something for me to kind of latch on to here? And so you can latch on to the comedy and the yelling and stuff like that. But when that character has an emotional turn, it's exciting for the actor, and he was right there with it, and was very and loved that part of the movie as well too.
No, I couldn't agree more. Actually, fun fact, I actually bumped into him like the day before. I think he was doing press in New York. And I bumped into him in the street and I took a picture with him. He's very, very kind dude, very down
Oh
to earth.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I can vouch for what you're saying. And I think it's awesome that we get to see a side of him that we haven't seen before through this kind of material. Another coincidence I wanted to talk to you about, and I mentioned this in my review as well. Um, DreamWorks owned by Universal Studios. Universal Studios first one of the first movies of the year they released was Wolfman, and then 2 weeks later they released Dog Man. Uh, uh, what do you think of that connection? What do you think of me saying that I think Dog Man is the superior film?
Well, I'm not gonna diss Wolfman. Come on, that sounds dangerous, doesn't it? Um, um, I think so too. But yeah, I don't know. It just came out, just turned out that way. There was you just don't take your kid to see Wolfman. That's all I can say. No diss on Wolfman, just not exactly for kids.
No, of course, of course. Now, general question I like to ask everybody: what do you hope that people take away from this movie? Is there something to take away from this movie? I had never been introduced to the Dogman universe, so I didn't know what to expect, and I'm there laughing at times harder than my son, harder than my kids. It has like the energy of like a great Family Guy episode with the cutaway gags and the inside jokes, the adult jokes. Is it just the entertainment value, or is there something deeper here that you think audiences might be able to connect with?
I mean, one of the things that's great about the books is that they're silly and charming and cute and funny, and then there are these very legit emotional moments that happen in them, and that was something I really wanted to make sure we kept in the movie to give it some depth, because ultimately, what we really respond to in movies is, I mean, something can look amazing, it could be very silly, but it's kind of like after half an hour you kind of want a little more. And so it's the emotional story that's really going to pull us through, and that's what I was really interested in keeping in there. In terms of the sensibility, in terms of kids and adults and stuff like that, I can't guess what somebody else is going to like. I mean, I can guess, but it's often a losing game. So it's really like, what do I like to see in a movie? And that is appropriate for Dog Man, right? So to me, it's always like, I think this joke is funny, and I think this gag is funny, and I think it's funny, and I have enough kid in me, as does Dav Pilkey, that it also, it works for kids as well. So it's really just about being intelligently silly and smart about, just being smart about the nuttiness as well. So the goal is always to really make it for somebody else. Obviously, it presents itself, as just like a kid's movie, but I always am dreaming of parents telling another parent, "Oh, I really liked it." Not like, "Oh, I slept through the whole thing." So that's part of my goal too. It's really make it for everybody.
Totally, and I have not stopped recommending this to some of my parent friends as well, just so that
Thank
you
you.
know. So it works. It
Thank you.
definitely works. I imagine you've also been bombarded with this question, but as I said, the movie's been very successful. It's out on home release now, so I imagine that the studio, if they haven't already, are planning or have approached you about some sort of sequel or plans to expand this into a franchise. Yes, no?
Yeah, I mean, there no decisions have been made about that. So, I mean, of course, when you have a good property and a thing like that, then you want to do that, and it's as much a business decision as a creative decision. So, that hasn't happened yet, but hopefully that will. Yeah,
And there's so many stories to choose from. I think my son had
there are too
hinted.
many. There are too
Yeah,
many.
yeah, my son had told me, he's like, yeah, Dad, and this happens with the mayor, and yeah, the PD, something happens with PD, and I'm like, oh, that sounds amazing, but like, we'll
Yeah,
we'll just have to see. I
the
don't work at
kid, the kids
Universal
are
Studios.
the kids are nuts about these books. I mean, I've talked to a lot of kids, and it's like they know every beat and like which book it's from, and all this stuff. So I have to always balance. It's like, how much leeway can I take? And a lot of times it's like, well, if you get the tone right and you get the look right and you get the feel right, you're going to be forgiven if you go, away from the books a little bit. But when I worked on this story, and if I was ever thinking about other ones, there's just too many good moments. It's the hardest part of it. When you read the books, you go like, "Oh my gosh, that's hilarious," or "That's so touching," or "This is amazing," and stuff like that. That's really the trick, is roping it together.
Any dream actors you would like to rope into this franchise if there is a sequel, or if Dogman for some reason or another gets a voice in the future?
Dogman will never get a voice because he's a dog. He's not. He's half dog, half human. There's some question about like whose vocal cords does he have, because it's kind of right where the stitches are. Which is one of the reasons that I was sort of like, I don't need him to be 100% dog, like a real dog, um, because it feels a little weird. So it's sort of it's a human doing a dog voice, which was me. But actors to do it, I mean, there's so many good actors. It's really just going to depend on the part. I was really happy with so much of the cast, and other people like Sherry O'Terry playing the mayor. She's absolutely hilarious. Just super, super fun. So you want to bring back people and then introduce some new characters. So we'll see. Don't know yet.
Okay, last question, truly last question here. If not a sequel, what is next for you? You have a very colorful filmography. The Country Bears, right? Animaniacs. I don't know, Country Bear sequel maybe, or something out. Like,
Yeah,
what's fun to
highly
you?
unlikely. Highly unlikely. I'll do a sequel, but it's going to be called No Country Bears for Old Men.
I would watch that. I would
Yeah,
watch that.
you watch that. Yeah,
That,
that's your
uh,
martini.
no, but yeah,
Um,
what's next for you?
Not sure. Just still working on Dog Man and getting it out there. Really excited. It's going to be available digitally for people to see. I'm looking forward to people doing their screen grabs and finding 10 million things that are hidden in this movie. It is loaded with Easter eggs. Um, so don't know yet. It really enjoyed working on this movie. It was really, really fun, and the crew had a great time. So maybe it'll be more of that, or we'll see what's up. Too soon to tell.
I'm gonna hold you to that. No Country Bears for Old Men. You get Josh
Okay.
Brolin on the phone right now. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Peter, for your time.
All
It's
right.
been a pleasure, and I cannot wait to see what you do next. And once again, congratulations on the movie.
Thanks very much.